What is up, guys? I do hope you're well. My name is Mark and today we're tackling r/malicious compliance. If you're new here, please consider hitting that like, that subscribe, and maybe that notification bell. And with that being said, let's get straight into today's stories. Much love, guys. Our first story is from Tigma Machair. I don't know if I got that name right, so bear with me. Open this effing door, you four-eyed twat. Okie dokie. Hi there. Long time lurker, first time poster, on mobile, so please be gentle. I deliver home heating oil in a very rural and mostly flat part of the UK. In my delivery area, there are many large drainage channels or dikes in the local lingo. The roads are often very narrow and single track and frequently run alongside these dikes separated only by a narrow grass verge. No safety barrier. Anywho, this one day in the depths of winter it was below freezing. There had been light spattering of snow and there was a thin scum of ice on the water in the dike. I just finished doing a customer's delivery and was winding in the hose prior to collecting payment and departing. My truck was completely blocking the road as there was nowhere for me to pull it off the road. We are limited by the length of delivery hose. Blocking the road is common and legally acceptable as long as we work quickly and safely. I was just waiting for the customer to finish writing the check for their oil when this large Mercedes car pulls up behind my truck and the driver immediately starts leaning on the horn and shouting and swearing and shouting at me to move that fucking truck out of the way now. My usual response when faced with similar behaviour is to blank the swearer and pretend they don't exist. Being 6'3" and £285 helps keep most people at bay. I ignored Mr. Shouty Man and finished up with my customer. The customer said to me, "Ignore him, he's well known in the village for being a bit of a dick." I said goodbye and got into my truck. As I was putting away my paperwork prior to driving off, I happened to glance on the driver's side mirror, the same side of the truck as the dike, and saw Mr. Shouty Man storming up the side of the truck with a tyre iron in his hand. Oh shit, thinks I, and immediately hit the central locking button, locking myself in the cab. Next thing I know, Mr. Shouty Man has climbed up onto the step, is hanging off the mirror arm with one hand and brandishing the tyre iron with the other, all while shouting, "Open this door, you four-eyed gunt." I wear spectacles for driving. Oh, the wit of the man. Lol. Cue malicious compliance. He told me to open the door, so I did, but as I did, I kicked it open. He lost his grip on the mirror arm and was flung backwards into the dike up to his chest in freezing cold, filthy water. I calmly started my engine and drive off. As I left, I looked in the mirror to see this guy floundering around chest deep in the icy water, dressed in a business suit, and happily said they would give a statement to whoever needed one confirming that I acted in self-defense. Then I made a fairly difficult call to my boss and told him what had happened, and he said I'll await his call with interest. No bollocking, nothing. When I got back to the yard that evening, I asked my boss what had happened, and apparently no call of complaint was made that day or ever. That is my story. Please, be gentle. Our next story is from Toot Boops the Snoot. Take out my trash? You got it. I'll be the first to say that this isn't some life-destroying, pride-obliterating bitch slap of an MC, but at the time it felt like it to me, so I'm sharing. I work as a route driver in the beverage delivery industry, mainly targeting bars and convenience stores. Needless to say, I run into more examples of Peter Principle than I can count. It seems like every town has one. That one manager who is either too trashy, too bitchy, or too incompetent to rise into the upper echelons of regional management. After 15 years lording over their sad little gas station kingdom, they've become frustrated, nitpicky, bitter, and downright bitchy towards their staff and customers. Because what else are they going to do? Recently, one of our direct competitors absorbed another smaller local distributor, and as a result, ended up biting off a little more than they could chew. Too many new deliveries and too many new product made the skeleton crew they had run for years all but collapse. Seasoned drivers who I've known and worked alongside for years began dropping like flies. As a result, the company began hiring anything with a pulse and a commercial driver's license. Coolers started becoming messy as product wasn't condensed, was being put in the wrong spot or just left on the floor entirely. Well, last Tuesday rolls around and it's once again my time to enjoy the weekly 30 minutes of hell. I roll up to the gas station and truck in my 5 carts worth of product. As always, Karen's totally displeased with the order that the salesman placed and she just okayed yesterday. So I enjoy the requisite 5 minutes of bitching while she checks the order in. I'm wheeling the first cart away after the check-in while I hear Karen's shrill voice cracking through the cooler door. "Clean up your shit, I have inventory tomorrow." I've been doing this for years, and I take great pride in my work and customer service. I'm super anal about organisation and product rotation, and I've developed quite the reputation amongst my customers as the one guy that you don't have to babysit. Everyone but Karen agrees. I get in and get out. My drinks are condensed and organised by product and expiration date. I cut no corners. Well, on this day, I had a small order and was running a bit ahead of schedule, so after putting all my product away, I spent another 20 minutes or so cleaning and organising the other guy's mountain of product. By the time I was done, I had amassed a huge stack of broken down cardboard and shrink wrap from all the product he had haphazardly thrown on the shelf. I was somehow able to cram all this trash into the one box I myself had brought in and headed out. Of course, Karen is there waiting in the back room while she does her reviews for the upcoming inventory. Karen says, "Geez, took you long enough?" To which I say, "Yeah, I took a bit of time cleaning and organising your cooler, but it looks good in there." She says, "Well, it better after all the time you had spent in there. I've been waiting on you. I still have to do my cooler reviews." I toss the full box of cardboard on the pile by the back door and start heading out. Karen says, "Excuse me? Company policy says you have to take your own trash out." Now, I'm not a spiteful guy. Quite the opposite, actually. I'm usually quite chipper and polite. Something about her smugness and lack of appreciation finally just made me snap. I turn around, walk to the trash pile, grab the box full of cardboard, and without breaking eye contact, I turn it over and vigorously shake its contents all over the floor. Cardboard and shrink wrap went everywhere. I'd really packed that shit in there, and it took quite a bit of effort to get it all out. I say, "This is the only box I brought in, and you should know, you scanned it in. The other shit is your trash. I cleaned up in your cooler. Have a good day." The combined look of rage and smugness on her face as I walked by with a shit-eating grin was enough to make the rest of my day. I told my boss about it when I got back at the end of the day. He had a good chuckle out of it since everyone else hates her as well. Of course she called and complained, but of course my boss only responded with, "Well, he did what you told him to. Nothing I can do about it. Sorry." I love my company. Our next story is from Argash. "If you need to pee more than twice a day, you need a doctor's note." Okay, sure. Cleaned out my home office today and I stumbled across paperwork I had saved for whatever reason from a shitty call centre job I worked at 15 years ago. This was an outbound sales thing and it was non-stop calls all day. Needless to say, the job sucked. With the constant talking though, your voice would start cracking through the day if you didn't hydrate. So I'd bring jugs of water to sip on all day long. This of course meant frequent trips to the restroom. I never abused these trips and they were always 3 minutes or less. But of course this wasn't good enough for management. Oh no. One day my manager demanded I get a doctor's note if I wanted to pee at any time other than one of the 2 regularly scheduled breaks. I could tell she was convinced I would not do it. I scheduled the appointment and filled the doctor in, who thought it was hilarious that this manager either 1, didn't understand biology, or 2, was on a huge power trip. He provided me with the most condescending doctor's note ever. And here it is. "To whom it may concern. This letter concerns my patient. This person requires a lot of fluid intake while talking on the phone in order to avoid drying out and becoming hoarse. When he drinks this much fluid, he must urinate every 60 to 90 minutes. Please excuse these brief visits to the bathroom as they are unavoidable. Sincerely, Mr. Doctor." Needless to say, she was not happy. My co-workers though all made trips to the same doctor and got similar notes. Pretty sure I wore a shit-eating grin every time I walked to the bathroom after that. Our next story is from Lufrov. "No noise after 10 PM. I work in the theatre industry, the live entertainment type, and was doing a freelance as a carpenter building a set. As normal, the budget was 50% less than it needed to be, and I had to do it in 2 days, what should have taken a week. I get paid a day rate, so regardless of how long I'm there, I get the same amount. But the rate agreed was very good, so it was worth going the extra mile and putting in the hours. So I started early, worked through breaks, and finished late. On the second day, I had a couple of things to join together, with bolts, a simple 5-minute job, right at the end of the day. But it was late, about 11:30 PM. The venue had a noise curfew at 10 PM, which is designed for the rock concerts playing live music at loud volumes. However, the venue manager, who had only been working there about a month, was very insistent that I was making too much noise with my tools. It was his first experience of a show being put in. The previous production was already open when he joined. The manager said, "You can't make any noise after 10 PM, we have a noise curfew here." I said the noise curfew is set at 90 decibels, and there's a meter on the wall over there to monitor it. My tools aren't registering over 75 decibels. I always work a little late like this on these shows. Sometimes I'm here until 4 or 5 AM if I need to make sure everything is ready. The manager said, "No, you aren't allowed to make any noise after 10 PM. You have to stop what you're doing." I said, "But you're making noise talking to me. I don't think you'll find it any noise. It's 90 decibels. I have this one last job to do, then I'm going home. It'll take 15 minutes at most." The manager said, "That's not possible. You have to stop now." To which I said, "Are you sure about that? They really want this set finished so they can rehearse here tomorrow. If I have to come back tomorrow, then it's going to be very inconvenient for everyone and for no reason. You can't make any noise, so it will have to wait." So I did what I was told, packed away my tools and came back in the morning. The next day the producer was more than a little annoyed, but I explained the issue with the manager. He instructed me to finish building the set, which I did in about 10 minutes. I took great pleasure in handing the manager my invoice for 3 days work, even though I've been there for probably less than half an hour. It was perhaps a little churlish of me, but the point is, I could have had to cancel another job to come in on the 3rd day. Besides, the rule says I get paid regardless of how long I am needed. The manager realised his mistake when he spoke to their technical director, and I never had to stop working late again. Wowzers. What do you think of those stories? My favourite story of them was the was the doctor's note one, actually going to the workplace to get a doctor's note. Absolute bliss. And they provided one as well. Have you guys got any similar situations to these? Let me know in the comments below. I would absolutely love to hear them. And as always, I really appreciate your time watching these videos. You liking these videos, it really helps. So never think it doesn't. It hugely helps. So thank you so much. And I will see you guys in the next one. Much love now.